Hey, Greensboro College, welcome to another episode of the Collegian Podcast with your host, Zypher Pino. And by my side here, we have
Chandler Eckert.
We're really excited to do this podcast episode. As you can see, Josh Wilson isn't here today because he has a wrestling tournament going on. So good luck to him, wishing him all the best. So we have Chandler replacing him for today. But for this episode, we're going to be covering the latest issue that just came out on March 13, 2024, featuring Taylor's article about the men's basketball season, a season to remember. This article by Taylor features the men's basketball season that recently ended as they unfortunately fell short against Mary Baldwin during the USA South Conference Championship game. They lost 62-72, but this was an amazing season for them. It was so absolutely fun to be watching them. This is one of their better seasons over the past couple of years. Any thoughts on this, Chandler?
I don't know much about basketball, but 62 and 72 are pretty close.
Yes. They made it all the way to the championship game. I'm pretty sure this was the first time that they made it here since like 2016-ish. So definitely an amazing accomplishment. They had a lot of seniors that really balled out this season. Just to mention, Matthew Brown hit a game winner. Like, I forget which game it was, but he hit a game winner like 2-3 weeks ago, and that was really hype. And their whole team is just really good. Their coach, a lot of credit goes to their coach, what's his name? Jim Boone, Coach Jim Boone. This is his first year as GC head coach, but he really did a fantastic job on just bringing the whole team together, changing the whole culture. And he was just great. He was just great. Their whole team was great. I'm a big fan of Griffin. He also used to be part of the Collegian, so I really love him.
First year, and he got them to the championships. That's pretty good.
Yes. And they're really looking forward to like next season. They have a lot of seniors retiring. Like, again, Matthew Brown's a senior. Their starting point guard, Isaiah Pruitt, is also a senior. And they have a couple people on the bench that are seniors. So we'll see how they bounce off. We'll see who the new players are going to bring in, who's going to step up and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if they can replicate the same season that they'll have next year. All right, so this is a good starting point to go to our next, or good bouncing point to go our next article, David's article about Merrily We Roll Along and his review on it. Any thoughts on this, Chandler? I want you to kind of start off on this.
Well, I didn't see the play, but from what I heard, it was good. It had a great cast. They were all very energetic and in the role. The cast loved it.
Yes.
They all had a fun time.
Yes. We know a lot of people in the cast.
Yeah.
Like Will, Gabby, all of them. I also, unfortunately, did not get to watch the play. But from what I also heard, not only from the people that watched it, but also the cast, it was absolutely fun. I'm pretty sure this is the only musical that they'll have for the semester. And I don't even know if they also had a musical last semester. But I'm pretty sure they don't always do musicals. So whenever one does come around, it's always like a good time. And a lot of the musical theater majors obviously love it. I did hear that with this play, it was a little bit confusing because the timeline or story kind of works backwards. And as I was reading, preparing for this article with David's explanation on it, I still got a little bit confused. So basically, I guess the story starts off with the main character starting at the top, and he's very successful, very rich, has everything. But apparently, as the story goes on, he kind of goes on a downward spiral into just like having nothing. And the story kind of shows how he got to that point. But in reality, that starting point is actually I don't know.
From what I heard, I don't remember which crew member told me this, but it's like a man that's like reminiscing on the good old days because it's not as life kind of sucks now. It's like a
Okay.
very bittersweet kind of musical.
I
Which I
did
thought was
not know
interesting.
that. I did not know that. It was very confusing to me because I just know Dr. Brewer watched this play and he told me that yes, it was confusing because it works backwards. And he tried to explain to me and I got confused. And then I tried to read this and I got confused. But that makes a lot more sense. I wish I was able to watch this musical, but I was not able to. I know the first night of the musical, we were doing something honors related.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that was the first night of the musical. And then I'm usually not here on the weekend, so, I did not get to watch. But be on the lookout for the next theater shows that they'll have. March 22nd is their next show called Cabo Review. Hopefully, I'm not butchering that. They also have another one called Communicating Doors between April 11 to April 13, and The Ties That Bind. That one does not have a date yet, as far as I'm aware, but they are performing it at the Parlor Theater inside of Maine and not at Odell. So now let's move on to our next article, The Collegian Shines at NC College Media Association Awards, made by Josh Wilson. So we're going to actually be talking about a little bit of ourselves here, which is a little weird. But on February 24th, the NCCMA conference was held. And during that conference at High Point University, there was an awards section. There was an awards ceremony that featured campuses across North Carolina that had their own newspapers, own literary magazines, and there were certain categories that you could be rewarded at or with. And we came home with a couple of them. The main award that we won was the Best of Show in Online News for our website that we made. So another one was In Remembrance of Seth Mandrick by Brianna Adamick. She made that last semester, or no, spring semester of last year. And Sarai Acosta, one of our graphic designers, cartooners, she came home with two awards, actually. Inconsistent NC Climate and NC Pet Partners Visit GC in Their Time of Need. And the one that I just mentioned, that one actually came in third place. And one of our alums, Gavin Mann, also got one of their cartoons recognized. And that one was called Blood Drive. Also, in addition to these awards, we also won a $250 stipend that we applied for. And we're actually planning to use that money on the podcast that you're watching now. So overall, it was a great day. It was a very fun time. I know, Chandler, you weren't able to attend, but it was very exciting to be there. It was a little early, and I hate early times. It was like at 8 a.m. So I had to wake up at like 7, had to drive and stuff. It was kind of bad. But overall, the event was good. Obviously, High Point is a beautiful place. It was just overall a fun time, and obviously, it's always good to win some awards. And with the website that we made, that was the number one thing that we won, and it was really good. It was really good.
Are you gonna hang the certificate on your wall?
No, I'm not actually gonna hang my certificate on the wall because technically it's not mine. It's technically named for the Collegian. And Dr. Johns wants to post the awards like around the Cowan 206, which has become the village, or which has become the Collegian office, kinda. But he doesn't want anybody to keep their awards, which is fine. He wants to display it and have people see it. But I don't know what his plans are because I don't even know where the award is anymore. And they're still not up. So we'll see what they're playing with it. One of our staff members, which is pictured on the article, actually, Diana, she was supposed to like hang them around the office or that room, but they haven't gotten around that yet. But next year, will you be going to the conference?
I'll try.
I mean, usually there's a category for multimedia stuff, and usually what they do with the NCCMA awards is that they take, so it's held, let's say for example, for this one, it was hosted 2024. All the nominations come from 2023. So we didn't nominate anything for the multimedia category or stuff because we didn't have the podcast yet. We only had the podcast since January-ish. So we didn't nominate anything. So maybe definitely for next year. I mean, we're definitely going to be nominating the podcast. And technically, since you're part of it, you technically might have a chance to win something. So we're definitely going to nominate it. So you're definitely going to have to go. But next year, it will be at App State, actually. The date is still being determined, but it was announced during the conference also that Appalachian State University will be hosting next year's NCCMA Awards. I think this is a good point to move on to our next article, talking about the new esports manager, Mario Castillo, that I made. Any overall thoughts on this, Chandler, while you were reading through it?
Um, Not right. I didn't really know we had an esports team until now. This is kind of news to me, but I think it's interesting.
Yes. To be honest, also, before Dr. Johns came up to me with this idea that, hey, you should feature the new esports manager that we have, I also did not know that we have an esports team, much less that we actually have 9 members on the esports team. Yes, that's what he said. He told me. That's what he told me. I don't know who those 9 people are, but I think it's great that we're getting into this field. Mario got hired over the summer or last semester, and he is actually a GC alum. Currently, he's also a music teacher at Smith Elementary in Burlington. And while I was interviewing him, while I was talking to him, it was really a pleasure getting to know him. Getting to know people in general is just really cool to me. But for him, I could clearly tell the amount of passion that he has for not only gaming, but also just teaching others in general. That was one of the main things that he emphasized while we were while I was interviewing him, that's the reason why he got into esports, not only because he loves gaming, he loves competition, but he also just loves teaching others. And being an esports coach, being an esports manager is the perfect opportunity for that. Um, and talking about more so with the program, he said that the biggest struggle that they'll have with the program is just upgrading the facility that they currently have, the office that they currently have for the esports people. There is a picture on the article that shows some of the computer setups that they have. And the room that they have is pretty big. It's probably as big as the student center, honestly, like the upper floor of the student center, maybe a little bigger than that. But it's very empty. But I wish I was able to show the whole room, but it wasn't done yet. But he said that that's why he's focusing on upgrading the stuff right now and just advertising the esports stuff in general, because like me and you said, I don't think a lot of people are aware of it. And it's fine because it only got started technically like last year. So it's fine that nobody knows about it. But we're a pretty small community. I'm pretty sure word will get around. But I'm interested to see what they will do for now and just how they will grow the program in general. They talked about hosting an open house like over the next couple of weeks. I know we have an open house coming up this Saturday. I'm not sure if they'll have a venue or a setup, something related to that day. But he did tell me that they were planning to have an open house. They're planning to send out a bunch of emails. He's working closely with admissions and stuff. But he was really excited just about the program in general. And I really hope it becomes successful because I think it would be really cool to have something like this.
I don't know what games they play in esports, but I feel like a Dance Dance Revolution would be really awesome.
I don't think they play anything like that. Oh, I mean, I might be mistaken.
That could be considered esports.
That could be considered esports. It could become very competitive.
Would really bring in people at the open house.
Oh, definitely, definitely. I know that I don't think I mentioned it on the article, but he did talk about how the games that they're currently focused on right now is League of Legends, and they're also trying to get into Valorant. That's what he said. I don't know what any of those games are. I've heard of them, but I asked them, like, are you trying to be more varied with your games? Like, or are you only trying to focus on one? And he told me that it would be ideal to have multiple games, but since they only are aiming to have around like 12 to 16 people, it's kind of going to be hard to focus on multiple games at once. So that's why right now they're only focusing on League of Legends. And he told me too that he's collaborating with schools around our area, like UNCG. He's collaborating with those other campuses and their esports team to possibly host a competition with our students. So it'll be interesting when that happens, if that happens. And honestly, I just want to know who's part of the esports team, just so I just want to know. I just think this whole thing is cool. Hopefully it does get somewhere. But from the looks of it, Mario is gonna do really good with GC and the esports program in general. Again, I talked about his passion. I talked about his love just for just gaming and teaching in general, which I think is very inspiring. And one of the last things that I want to mention about him is research that he did during his master's program was actually revolving around music and video games, basically combining the two and making or examining the relationship between the two. Because as we know, one of the main things that makes video games great is the soundtrack that's correlated with it. So his research was focused on that, and he told me that the article that he did made, the research article that he did made, has been cited by other video game researchers, which I think was pretty cool. But that's why he went into music. He was a music major, but he ended up becoming related to esports. He ended up coming back to GC for esports because of his love for gaming and just music in general, and teaching going alongside that. So overall, I think he's going to be great. I think it's going to be good. I'm really excited to see what the program is going to have.
Can't wait for their first competition.
Yes, we don't know when exactly their first competition would be, but I'm really excited for that. So
would we be watching them play on the computer, or would they put up like a screen for us to watch?
I don't know. I don't know how esports competition works. I think it's both, right?
Both.
I think it's like you can go in person and watch them, but I don't know where we would watch them though. That's the thing. But I know definitely they would at least have like a stream up for it or a YouTube video up on it, something like that. So we're now going to move on to the last thing that we're going to talk about, On the Prowl, my favorite segment. So for this On the Prowl, I ask people, tell me something you are naturally good at. I want you to kind of start off with this. What is something you're naturally good at, Chandler?
I think I'm naturally good at writing. It just like comes to me easily.
That's funny because that's exactly what I put.
Yeah.
I'm naturally good at writing, but specifically, I felt for some reason like you were gonna come up with writing, so I said handwriting. I'm naturally good at, not just obviously everyone.
Handwriting?
Yes. Everyone obviously can handwrite, obviously, but for me, I write like neatly good, like very neat, like really neat. A lot of people, ever since I was in middle school, a lot of people have been talking to me about how every time they see my handwriting, they're like, "Oh my gosh, your handwriting is so nice. How do you write that good?" Like, "Oh my gosh, it's so neat. It's so clean. It looks like a font." I'm like, I don't know. I just write. So it's not really something that when I write, I don't take like 10 hours just to make something really perfect. It's just something that's really like natural to me. And also I wanted to talk about just writing in general. But since explain more about why.
You're good at the physical act of writing, while I'm good at the mental part of it.
Yeah.
I'm good with the words and stuff. Not when I'm speaking, but when I'm writing.
Oh yeah, definitely. When I write, it's better. It's better for me to write stuff on paper than just saying it out loud, especially talking like in public. I'm really terrible at that. But yes, mine is handwriting because for some reason, ever since I was in middle school, literally, I've had like a couple people a week back then where they were like, "Oh, your handwriting's so nice. It literally looks like a computer font." And I'm like, "Thank you. I don't know what to say to that because a bunch of people have already told me that my handwriting's nice." But yeah. That's all that we're going to talk about today in this episode of the Collegian Podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found something interesting while listening through this. Be on the lookout for our issue coming out. It should be out on all stands by March 13th, 2024. And our next issue will be coming out April 10th. So be on the lookout for that as well. Make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you like our video and share this podcast to your friends and family. Peace out.